Okay, we are back and ready for our fourth session, data visualization using Tableau to analyze library website usage data, presented by Joan Xu and Robin Naughton from CUNY Queens College. Dr. Q. Joan Xu is assistant professor for Queens College Library. She is responsible for library data services and liaison to business departments. She teaches data literacy-based and in-class bibliographic library instructions. Her research interests include user engagement, library data services, and library assessment. Dr. Robin Naughton is assistant professor, web and digital services librarian for Queens College Library. She is responsible for the library website and digital services. She's an experienced user-centered researcher and digital librarian focused on human-computer interaction, specifically designing interactive systems that are useful, easy to use, and enjoyable. Okay, I'm going to stop my share and you folks can take over as soon as you're ready.
Hi, everyone. I'm Robin.
Hi, everyone. This is Qiong Xu. Yes, thank you. Okay, Robin, would you like to start it?
Yes, I will start. So today, what we're going to talk about is using data visualization to analyze library website usage data. Can you advance for me, Joan? So our main goal for this presentation is really giving you an introduction on what we're going to do, the approach that we took, what we did for data collection, data preparation, data visualization, some of the findings we had out of that, and overall the conclusion and what we hope to do with the information we gathered. Next slide. All right. So our main purpose in this research is really trying to help our leaders and stakeholders in the library. As you know, we have a lot of leaders and stakeholders, particularly as part of a larger system. So part of our purpose is to help them and support college teaching and research with data. In addition to that, we want to incorporate data visualization to help with better decision making regarding the library website. There's a lot of data regarding the library website, and data visualization is a way for us to kind of put that data out there for others to see and understand it a little better. The questions that helped to drive this particular research was, what is the usage of the QCL website in the recent 5 years? And so we're looking at data from 2018 to 2022. Including trends in library web page views, ranks of top web page views, and LibGuides visits. The second question that guides this research, in terms of usage, how can we understand the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the QCL website? Now, our approach takes a number of steps. And so one of the things what we did was really try to identify our systems and platforms and our data sources. Our data comes from many sources. So we needed to identify those in order to get the appropriate data for this research. Analyze the data collected from the multiple systems, create data dashboards showing trends over the years, asking questions about the stories, less descriptions of the dashboard, and interpreting that information and making suggestions on what it means and what we can do with that. To start our data collection, one of the things I wanted to point out is that in thinking about the library website, we are a website that has multiple systems running. On the left is the main library website. The main library website runs on WordPress. And so we have Google Analytics associated with that. And that's where some of the data comes. On the website, we have OneSearch, and OneSearch is using Primo. And that's running in a different system than the website, on a different server. So a different place to pull the data and the information. We also use LibGuides a lot. And that's a SpringShare system. So that also has its own data and ways to pull that data. And part of our process in the data collection is really identifying these systems and the different ways and methods in which they collect data to pull all the data so we get a more holistic view of the website and the usage of the website. And so I will pass it on now to Joan to talk more about the data collection and the other parts of the project.
Thank you, Robin. Hi, everyone. So our data were collected from different platforms, and also we request some data from like our CUNY office, library service office, and our school office of institutional effectiveness, because we want to give some background information to see how our website usage looks like. And so the data about our website, including the website, the total usage and the homepage usage data were gathered from Google Analytics of our library website. And we also gather data from SpringShare apps, the data including LibGuides, A to Z databases, and e-reserves. Meaning we collected the e-reserve items, the materials views, and the searches within SpringShare. And also we want to see how our one search primo session look like, because our CUNY office library services annually publish this data. And so we also confirm the data from ALMA and with the data set provided by our CUNY office. And so because ALMA so far the one search primo session data only came dated back to 2020 August. So because we are looking into the data across 5 years, so the historical data on the one search we gathered from our office, CUNY Library Service Office. And so we also want to see if our website usage has been impacted by the change of our student enrollment. So this data is gathered for a reference as a background. And the data preparation, after we identified the system to find the data where the data are stored, and so we start gathering data. And after that, because all data were coming from different platforms provided by some offices, so we need to clean the data and check the quality of data and make data make sure the data is consistent and integrity in its quality. So after that, we tabulate data using Excel sheet, and combine the data set and rename variables to make sense. And so finally, we generate 2 data sets. The first one is recent 5 years of 7 digital spaces or contents usage, and the recent 4 years of student enrollment data. And the second data set is about recent 5 years of top 10 QCL website content page views. And after finishing the data preparation, we start to visualize our data using Tableau, and step by step import, including the steps like importing clean data into Tableau, and then identify the variables data types, including the dimensional data and measurement data. And so the next step, creating data visualization sheets with appropriate tools and functions. The tools and functions we use for this data visualization, including different charts, including bar charts, line charts, area charts. And also we use filters and colors to make the view more understandable. And we added reference lines and to make some average calculation so that we can have a clear view for the trends. And also we use dual access, synchronized access, so that we can make combo charts on one sheet to save the space to have more meaningful views. And finally, we based on the worksheets, we generated the 4 dashboards, and in the meantime, added the title, access, and the legends so that we can get more meanings from our dashboards. And so we generated 4 dashboards, including 5-year trends of QCL website and the web homepage views, QCL website views with OneSearch Primo sessions and the student enrollment over years, over the 5 years, and the top 10 content page views over the 5 years, and the 5-year trends of QCL digital content views. So here we are. The first dashboard, from the first dashboard, what is striking is that the drop decline of our website usage in 2020. We can understand that because of the COVID-19 pandemic broke out. So this year, the decreased use, we can understand it. And so we also can assume this could happen. And since 2020, we can see the steadily continual increase of happened in our database, in our website usage. Although in the meantime, we need to pay attention to a slight decrease of the usage in our website homepage. The line chart is the total website usage, and the bar chart is our website homepage views. This data were collected from Google Analytics. On this slide, we can clearly see a continuous increase of our OneSearch Primo sessions, the purple lines, and compared to the change of our website usage, and the OneSearch Primo session continues gradually growth in the past 5 years. And so we were thinking about the factors may impact these changes. And so, we look at the student enrollment data as well. On the bottom, we can see the red line is our student enrollment across 4 years. And so obviously, the student enrollment may not be a factor in influence those trends, because it's remain very. It doesn't have a very marked change over the years. Okay. And so these are our top 10 content page views on our website. It's interesting that the research page, library hours page, our music library, and the off-campus page are continually the top 4 popular pages for the users over the 5 years. It's understandable the computing page drop off the top 10 list in 2020 and 2021. that because of the close of the library building. And yeah, I don't know if Robin want to say more about this chart.
Yeah, I can say a little more about the chart. So what Joan was referring to is that you can see over the 5 years that we do have some consistent pages that always makes it in the top 10. Those pages are consistent across and they grow over time. But you can also see from this chart that there are pages that pop up and pop in and pop out of the top 10, or did not appear at all and kind of disappeared. And I think that has, depends on what's happened. In some cases, so for the computing page, you can understand why during 2020 and 2021, the pages were not there, but then it popped back up in 2022 when we reopened and started to have those services available again. Some of the same things you can think about in terms of some of the other pages as well. There are pages that in 2018 didn't exist, but then started to exist in 2019 and 2020. And there are pages that did exist. So for example, like the mobile page did exist, but then, that page basically was removed from the site, so it's no longer there. So you can start to see some of those kinds of changes and effect that the website had on the data, on what page make it into the usage. So this is, it's a nice view of what's happened over the last 5 years and how pages have appeared and disappeared in that process, and what we can do going forward to really keep track of what's coming up to the top and what users are using more of.
Thank you, Robin. The next slide showed that the comparison between our website usage and other digital spaces or contents hosted on SpringShare apps, including A to Z databases page, e-reserve items page, LibGuides, and the searches within SpringShare. And so it's interesting, we can see that our LibGuides views have a big increase since 2020 and peaked in 2021, slightly declined in 2022. And in the meantime, the HZ databases start to steadily, slightly decline since 2020. But we can recall that in the meantime, our One Search Primo session continued growth in the same time frame. And also from this dashboard, we can see that again, we can see our website usage peaked in 2019 and declined in 2020, but slightly, steadily, increased after 2020. So we can expect to reach next peak in the future. Okay. So projecting the increase of our website usage, we are thinking about the relationships between all of our digital spaces, digital contents. So we conducted a very simple correlation analysis using SPSS. So from this table, we can see that the positive linear relationship exists between website and the website homepage, and the one search and a year, and also the LibGuides and the year. And also we can see the negative linear relationship between e-reserve items and the year, e-reserve items and the guides, and be reserved items with one search. So yeah, from this table, we didn't find the significant correlation between website usage and other digital contents or spaces usage. So from our data visualization analysis, we have such findings. Like the usage of QCL website dropped off dramatically in the initial period of the COVID-19 pandemic and has slowly rebounded. The use of one search steadily increased over the years, even during the pandemic period. In the meantime, library website views did not correlate significantly with other library content views, while the web homepage usage is significantly correlated with website usage. And Robin, would you like to say more about the last 2 points?
Sure. So the peak use of all library digital spaces was the library website in 2019 before the COVID-19 pandemic. And so you saw that on one of the early visualizations is that the library website was, compared to the other digital spaces we were using, was at peak usage across all of the other spaces. And the last point is some top 10 content web pages were removed over the years. And you saw that in the chart with the top 10 pages that some appeared, some disappeared, and some pages were actually removed. So you have data for 1 year, but then subsequent years, there's no data on that. And I think then we're on to our conclusions, and then we can open it up for questions.
Yes, our conclusions include the such points. First of all, the use of one search was not significantly impacted by the pandemic, which implies that the well-functional library online catalog is the most robust library resource supporting our academic teaching and research during all times. The backbone supporting the use of a library website is still the homepage. Because the library website was the main portal for the library resources and the services before the pandemic and is currently rebounding, we expect that it would regain this role in the future. Yes, I want to leave the last point to Robin to talk more about that.
Yeah, the discontinuity of some of the top 10 content pages suggests that the website structure may need to be optimized. So the data over the last 5 years helped us, especially with the top 10, to see what people are using consistently across time. And the fact that some of those pages are disappeared, or that we have some pages were removed, and so you don't have that information in there, that suggests that we really need to think about the structure of our website. Some of the pages disappear because the information and the data is based on the URL. So if there's a slight shift in the URL, we have to reconcile that, but also a change in that URL and that location means that there's a change in the data. And so if we change the pages, which is one of the things that we need to be much more focused on, is how do we do it in such a way that, you know, we're keeping a certain level of consistency, but pages that people want and use frequently is still available in terms of getting the content out to them. So that's something that I think this study has helped us to start to pay closer attention to.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, everyone. Any questions?
All right.
Thank you, both of you. There are some questions in the Q&A, and if I did see a couple questions in the chat. So for anyone that's just joining us, I would like to just give a quick reminder to throw any questions in that Q&A so they can be addressed. They'll probably get missed in the chat. All right.
I can take a look at the Q&A and see what we have.
Sorry, do I need to stop sharing my screen?
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Okay, thank you.
I would just like to, if you do take a question from the chat, to read it aloud for our
Sure.
audience. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So this first question in the Q&A says, please send to whomever would know this. I'm not sure if it's for us or not. What's more accurate, total item request or unique item request? I was told that total contains redundancy. So Joan, I would share that, send that to you.
Yeah, that sounds like a counter question. So if anyone in the chat would like to chime in, maybe related to the last presentation. So yeah, if anyone in the chat would like to address total item request versus unique item requests.
All right. In the meantime, I'll try to read the next question. So in regards to the top 10, that's a good question. In regards to the top 10 content page views, why would databases not be in the top 10 from 2019 to 2022? Is it no longer there? So one explanation for that is that the method changed. So the top 10 data is coming from basically the WordPress pages, and databases is now in SpringShare. So the data for databases is kind of living in SpringShare. So that's the A to Z list that databases refers to. And so what we have is that, when that change happened, then, that data is no longer kind of being captured in the Google Analytics in the same way. So it's no longer a page on the site in a traditional sense, because from our top navigation, when you click the link, it takes you straight to SpringShare. So it's a different kind of data. So yes, so those are some of the kind of challenges of reconciling multiple systems running on the website. I hope that answered your question. The next question is, do you have an idea how to interpret the usage of OneSearch not correlating with the usage of the library's website? How else do they access OneSearch, that is, LibGuides, search boxes, and the LMS? So, Joe, do you want to take any of this one?
I'm thinking about, the question is about the OneSearch, why we, yeah, the OneSearch is hosted on another platform called X Libris, right? And so, yeah, it's independent system. Yeah, our the OneSearch search box function is embedded on our website, on our homepage. But once the user type in any search into the search box, it will be referred to another system, X Libris, and so all the data was tracked, recorded by another system, not our website. Did I answer this question?
Yeah, I think I think the thing in terms of thinking about the data is just being able to integrate these three systems to work together, to understand the systems together, because our OneSearch is run in one system, or LibGuides are running a different system, and the website is running a third system. We are working with three different methods for pulling the data, and they're not necessarily talking to each other in a shared capacity. So I think that's one of the challenges. All right, the next question.
I think this has got to be our last one. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, okay, sure.
So, yeah, pick among them, and thank you.
All right, let's see. Page views can be instructive. They have value. Many factors can influence this metric, yet they can also show false positive because usage does not equate to good UX. It is important to recognize that Google Analytics is a tool that doesn't explain why visitors do what they do or express their satisfaction levels with the site and its services. Users might be doing things for all the wrong reasons because the site forces the activity. In this case, actual impact is diminished. Didn't see a question in there, but I will have to say, in terms of UX, yes, you're right. If you're going to do UX, and you're really going to look at the site overall. That is one metric out of many that you would need to look at. You would need to, one of the things I'm doing is doing a study on the site. So you're not only looking at the analytics, you're also speaking to the users. You're also, capturing certain aspects of the user experience. So user experience is a holistic kind of experience that you want to capture on multiple dimensions. And that's just one dimension to look at that you can then use to inform other dimensions that you need to capture. I think that was supposed to be our last question.
Yeah, we are out of time, but we'll forward those final 2 questions to you and share those answers out to all attendees after the conference, along with all today's slides and recordings. So thank you to both of you. Another great presentation, and we really appreciate it.